Bill Clinton.
Nice guy. Got a lot of problems coming up, in my opinion, with the famous island with Jeffrey Epstein. A lot of problems.
On this episode of Just Informed Talk, brand new Q posts. We're going to take a look at them. They tell us a lot about what's coming with Jeffrey Epstein's upcoming trial and the latest about his arrest and the unsealing of the indictment that came today, how that relates back to Bill Clinton. We're going to take a look at that, plus a whole bunch of other breaking news stories. So you guys are going to want to stick around and check it out. I'm Craig, and welcome to another episode of Just Informed Talk. I always like to begin by saying thank you to everybody who's come here and hit that subscribe button. If you haven't, please come here, hit the big red subscribe button, make sure you hit the bell for notifications, and don't forget to hit the like button if you guys like this content and want to see me make more. So today, yes, Q has posted, and boy, do we have a lot to go over. I would say we have probably almost 10 or so posts, but they're coming as we're speaking, so there may be more as we go. But Q has come out and said, look, he's going to start clearing things up. The time to come public is now, and here we are with Q. We're going to take a look at the latest posts and get the insight from that. Plus, we're going to look at a few other different news stories that are happening today, but mostly we're going to just focus on the latest brand new Q posts. But before we do that, I always encourage everyone to come back here, watch these last few videos, share them on your social media, get the word out that way. That's how we get around the suggested videos and algorithms at YouTube, where they don't want to put this content out there and they're trying to suppress it because they want to promote the the authoritative sources, I should say, that they consider to be authoritative, like, you know, the MSNBC, CNN, CBS, ABC, NBC, all the good old fake news, lamestream media networks. So we're going to go ahead and ask you guys to hit the share button if you guys want, and that helps get the content out there. And if you're scratching your head going, what is QAnon and the Great Awakening? What's this guy talking about? What have I just stumbled upon? Please, by all means, watch this video right here. It'll give you all kind of the background information about QAnon that you need to know to kind of understand where we're at now, and watch these videos going back as far as you can. Share them on your social media. That's how we get the word out. So thank you. All right, getting into today's video. Here we are. We'll start right here with the first Q post. The last Q post we got was back in June 27, 2019, Q post 3352. Now we're picking up at Q post 3353, and we're just going to jump right into it. It says, what happens when those who held positions of power and influence no longer pull the strings? What happens when blackmail no longer works? Do you become a liability? H is leads to or greater than C, D, and I. Q. So we're going to get more clarity on what these mean here in a second, but because it's kind of explained a little further in the next Q post. But obviously right here, we're just being posed the simple question: what happens when the people who have held these positions of power and influence no longer have control that they used to have, and when the blackmail that they had previously no longer works because the truth is coming out regardless? Yeah, people do become liabilities, and we're going to get more into that here. So an Anon posts this. It's a picture of, the storm has arrived, and it's got this umbrella. Looks like Trump standing here with an umbrella in a field with the storm coming and the flag. And of course, the Q responds to that post by saying, just because the quote-unquote public is unaware of something does not mean quote-unquote nothing is happening. Mueller hearing a tactic meant to delay House report. House report release necessary prior to Comey release. H plus C equals D. D equals start of the mass awakening. White House, ABC's state, foreign, etc. kind of. And then it says post D comes many eyes. When blackmail no longer holds due to loss of senior level key government position. Sorry about that. We got a post right in the middle of this. But it says senior level key government positions in 11th hour testimony, those previously protected become prey. Hunters become hunted. God wins. Q. So obviously what I think this, if you just break it down off its, what we're getting here, it's saying that just because things aren't public doesn't mean they're not happening. And also Mueller was a tactic to delay the House report. What's the House report? I believe the House report is referring to the report that's been put together by the Inspector General, Michael Horowitz, in conjunction with multiple U.S. attorneys, with that is what's necessary to start the indictment of Comey. The Comey release is basically what will come out once the House report shows that Comey was one of the key figures in all types of different illegal activities, whether it's leaking information to reporters that was confidential, classified, and or also just the mishandling of the Clinton investigation, all of the things that happened in the lead up to the 2016 election are being investigated and are going to be reported, are going to be exposed in detail when this House report comes out. So then it says H plus C equals D. So obviously, the first thing people take away is that that's Democrat or that's destruction of the Democrats. I don't know, but it says D is the start of the mass awakening, White House, ABC, State, Foreign, and then so on. So I think words drop, as in when the drop happens, or that is the drop in the start of the mass awakening, however you want to look at that. And it says post D or drop or Democrat, whatever you want to, Democrat destruction, whatever you want to call it. It says come many eyes. Now, obviously, the first interpretation of that is many independents, people leaving the Democrat Party because they see that they are not being held hostage or captive to it. Because one of the things the Democrat leftist party is really good at is using their influence and through whatever means necessary over others, and that's why they all vote like one solid block. And they're because a lot of the people involved are basically just in these really sick power struggles where they have things that have been uncovered, like with blackmail, like Hugh says here. Saying when blackmail no longer holds due to loss of senior level key government positions in 11th hour testimony. So people are coming out the last second. This has to do with Loretta Lynch, who's going to be presumably testifying or has already testified slightly, giving us hints about what happened with the tarmac meeting between her and Bill Clinton. And eventually these people will not be able to cover for all of those who are involved. And of course, as Q points out here, the hunters will become the hunted and God will win, which we all know that's going to definitely happen regardless of what happens here. So next one is Anon posting saying, welcome back, Q. So good to see you. Are you returning publicly again now? Q responds, the time has come to re-enter the public domain. Q. So here we are. The time has come. Whatever timing it is a part of the plan, and that's where we're at. We're seeing Q come back publicly. So now we have these few posts. These are older Q posts that we're meant to look at. Right. First off, obviously the one here with Epstein Island. Why is it normal? Q asks us for a temple like this to be on an island with these big owls, and the speculation has been obviously that we've talked about this before, that this holds some sort of elevator or stair shaft that goes to an underground complex, which has been involved with, as Q has alleged, very, very serious crimes. And this all connects back to things that we've been covering here on the channel for quite some time, including, I believe, what's happening with Epstein right now, and of course, what happened that we've already uncovered with NXIVM and all of that. So, of course, the next one is this, where Q gave us this picture of Bill Clinton on Jeffrey Epstein's plane with Rachel Chandler. And if you believe what Q has been telling us and showing us up till now, especially with regard to things on Rachel Chandler's Instagram and the suspicious bank of video monitors that may or may not have been associated with the underground complex at Epstein Island and the abuse of children and the occultism and really sick, evil stuff, satanic stuff, then you'll understand that this is a very incriminating photo, because Q has told us that Rachel Chandler is basically Allison Mack times 100. So if Rachel Chandler is Allison Mack times 100, what was Allison Mack? Well, according to all of the court records and what we've learned so far through the investigation and the findings with regard to the investigation into NXIVM, Allison Mack was one of the top recruiters / heads of this group that was involved in occult Satanism. They were involved in child trafficking. They were involved in human trafficking for sex. And these charges were brought against Keith Raniere, and he was found guilty as a part of that NXIVM sex cult. So this is all out there in the public records. We're just really rehashing these things that have happened. This photo exists, It says Epstein's plane, who is she, follow friends, friends lead to others, open source Q. And I've talked about this before, obviously, here on the channel a few times in the lead up to this. The next post Q gives us here are two other Q posts that I've talked about before ad nauseum. Here's one. Obviously, this is a picture of Bill Clinton basically in the Dominican Republic, right there next to Punta Cana at some specific beach, but right where you're seeing all these mysterious deaths, especially at the Hard Rock Hotel and other resorts in the area where Americans and other tourists are winding up dead from what they've suspected is like some sort of alcohol poisoning, but we still haven't gotten the full story on that. But it's been happening more and more recently. But this is the picture where it was taken, Punta Cana in the Dominican Republic, right next to Jeffrey Epstein's private island. And it actually says here, will the rich and powerful influence the court to prevent the unsealing? And that's exactly what we're seeing right now. And what we saw, obviously, was, first of all, one of the judges that was involved in the court proceedings around the Epstein trial mysteriously died. And we saw there was a big pushback against unsealing the information from the Epstein trial originally. Now we have new charges, new indictments. So we're going to actually, going to get justice here, I believe. It says, follow the attorney who took the pic, who was located behind the camera. And it says sex trafficking is real. Now, we know that that's true because in the indictments, the U.S. Southern District of Court of New York has contended that it is fact that Jeffrey Epstein was engaged in these illicit behaviors with children. So that's their contention in their indictment. So we're going to have to see what that leads to. And hopefully it will lead us all the way back to the higher-ups who were involved, including Bill Clinton and Epstein Island and that connection there as well. Another thing that Q points us to is this older Q post here where it's telling us about Epstein Island, or about Epstein, excuse me. It says, why is Epstein spending $29 million to bury the tunnels underneath his temple on Epstein Island? Problem, phones were allowed in. These people are stupid. Q. And again, Q responds to that post saying HQ. So, yeah, people were in there. People were stupid. They had their cell phones. Obviously, the NSA was able to track and to surveil that, with ease probably. And these people are pretty stupid, as Q has said in the past. They exposed themselves basically to these major intelligence organizations and that or agencies, and that is really what we're looking at the product of now. And this all takes time. I think what we have to remember is that a lot of people want these instantaneous results, but I think people have been asking for arrests, and now we have arrests, and we have major arrests. Jeffrey Epstein is a major player in all of this. He will be one of the linchpins to everything. It started with NXIVM and Allison Mack, and then that was kind of the first story to kind of ease the public in to show them that this could exist. Now we're going after Epstein, and then hopefully that will uncover Rachel Chandler and her connection to Epstein Island, because that is if Rachel Chandler is Allison Mack times 100, that's going to be the next big story that we're going to be covering here for some time to come, I would believe. Because if there's been the contentions that and court documents that show that Keith Raniere was involved in collecting, basically blackmailing information against people like Chuck Schumer and others, then could you imagine what Jeffrey Epstein has been collecting on the people he's been with? So that's pretty much that one. I thought I'd share those posts with you and just tell you, that's what Q is sharing with us. Again, the next post here is a tweet that Q gives us saying the hashtag Jeffrey Epstein arrest 6 hours ago on PBS News. The DA for the SDNY, Mr. Berman, said that the Jeffrey Epstein arrest of the Jeffrey Epstein arrest, quote, what I will say is we were assisted with some excellent investigative journalists, unquote. So it says hashtag we are the news now, hashtag QAnon, hashtag Epstein, hashtag the alliance. And Q simply responds, you didn't think all this research tasking was for nothing, did you? See, that's been something I've been stressing from the beginning. We're all called to put this information out there and to continue to spread the word and to dive deep into it. Now, we may not get it right. We may get a few things wrong, and we may posit some theories that turn out to be incorrect. But as long as we're very clear about that, when we speculate, we make sure that we're very clear that it is a speculation. And when we know fact, we contend with fact. And that's how, you do what's honest, and that's what this research has been in my opinion, in my view, this is what it's been from the beginning. We've been going down multiple rabbit holes trying to investigate a wide spectrum of different corruption crimes across from, white collar bribery crimes all the way down to what's happening below Epstein Island and everything in between. So there's a lot of information that we're processing, and not to mention the fact that we had to clean out the FBI and the DOJ in order to even start the process of following through on these investigations with indictments. And President Trump, now that he's cleared the FBI and the DOJ, it's no coincidence that we were promised a very big event or surprise with regard to the 4th of July. And the day after the 4th of July, we have basically Jeffrey Epstein being indicted and subsequently being arrested, which is huge. So this is what Q is trying to convey to us, I think, and this is our task, is to continue to dig and research. So here's a good one. It's just a balcony, I guess, in Florida somewhere, and Anon posted of somebody who put a big Q in there on their balcony with an American flag. Where we go when we go, all Q responds. That's cool. This is something that's worth remembering. Remember what the original IG Inspector General report found. I mean, if we want to go all the way back to when we were first reviewing the Inspector General's initial report, there was a mention there. It was a note that was taken by one of the investigators who said that there were, with regard to what was found on Anthony Weiner's laptop, there were crimes against children related to Hillary Clinton and the foundation. That's the actual note. And if you want to read it here, it actually says it clearly. This is the screenshot from the actual IG report where it's talking about notes that were taken in regard to what was found on Anthony Weiner's laptop. And it talks about the September 26th federal search warrant that was put in place after Anthony Weiner had been investigated for texting a 15-year-old with sexually explicit content. That the iPhone, iPad, and laptop were seized during that search warrant. That's when it was executed. That's what they got. The initial analysis of the laptop found thousands of emails, probably mostly the ones that were confidential, classified. Hillary Clinton and Foundation, crime against children. So I've got sources who have told me that this is what happened. The NYPD seized Anthony Weiner's laptop, that they brought it back. There was a group of individuals who saw the contents on that laptop, and the people who saw what was on that laptop, a lot of them may have ended up losing their lives because of their viewing of that content. Now, I'm not saying that as a fact, that's a speculation, but that's what the source I have is telling me. And also that there was some very disturbing content on that with regard to Hillary Clinton, and that was pretty much beyond the pale of anything anyone could ever imagine. I don't even want to repeat what was on there, but you guys are very aware, I'm sure, of what's been speculated as far as a video that may or may not have been on that laptop goes. So that's just one aspect of it, not to mention all the emails that were used for who knows what, as far as blackmailing and all the things that we're uncovering as we go here. Q says it's worth remembering. And yes, it is worth remembering. And this is where it's all going to lead. This is how this is going to continue to develop, is we're going to uncover Epstein. That leads us to the next big domino, which will end up being what was found on Anthony Weiner's laptop, which my source says, and I don't want to get into who or what, but a trustworthy source I know says that Attorney General Barr has the laptop and knows exactly what was on it. So, and it goes back to other things, but we only have so much time. So this is Q responding to what we just looked at, the last post, saying, many were disappointed with House report when released just because the public isn't aware of something, D5Q. So as we know, like we just said, there's a lot the public doesn't know, especially when it comes to what's happening with the Anthony Weiner laptop. But I'm hearing from people who I trust that the laptop's in Barr's hands, in Barr's possession, and he's deciding how to move forward from here. So we're going to have to wait and see how that goes. Now, Q gives us this article from Fox News, which basically just talks about how billionaire sex offender Jeffrey Epstein once claimed he co-founded the Clinton Foundation. Now, this is just according to some old document that was put out, a letter when Jeffrey Epstein was first indicted, I guess. He put out this letter saying how he worked with Bill Clinton and helped him basically make the Clinton Foundation, which would make perfect sense given what we are seeing, are hearing about speculations about and allegations about how the Clinton Foundation was helping to allegedly traffic children from Haiti out of the country. If you look at what happened with Laura Silsby, that's just one example, but there are other examples as well. So that's something to look more closely at, saying connect the dots. Well, yes, we can connect the dots pretty quickly on that one, fairly easily. Again, we're looking back at this post with Bill Clinton and Rachel Chandler, and then there's this tweet which came out where Bill Clinton's issued a statement saying about Jeffrey Epstein. And in his statement, he basically says this. According to his statement, he says that he knows nothing about the pedophilia charges filed against financier Jeffrey Epstein. That's very, very hard to believe, given that this picture exists. Q asks, does this single picture of Bill Clinton on Epstein's private plane with Rachel Chandler refute his entire statement? Fake news disinformation campaign failing. You are the news now. Together you are strong, Q. So look, I mean, here's the picture of, don't let your lion eyes fool you, I guess, right? Because that's not a picture of Bill Clinton with Rachel Chandler on Jeffrey Epstein's private jet. I guess that's I'm just completely, I have no idea what I'm looking at, but apparently that's what that is, and that does exist. So there you go. Again, an Anon posts this Punisher symbol, and Q responds, what happens when Loretta Lynch can no longer provide legal cover for the Clintons? Tarmac meetings end, Q. So the Tarmac meeting will be the unraveling of Bill Clinton and what he was involved with as far as Hillary and the putting together so many things nefariously behind the scenes, including what we're looking at with Rachel Chandler and what's going to come out about his connection to Epstein Island. But and this was one thing you guys saw at the beginning of this video. President Trump knew about this. When he was asked about Bill Clinton back by Sean Hannity, as you saw at the beginning, what did he say? He said when everything comes out about Jeffrey Epstein, he's going to have a lot to deal with. Well, that's where we're at right now. So I hope that helps. Again, another one here, an Anon post, Payne, with this poster or billboard that was put up with a Q sign saying where we go all. Great work, Patriots. That's pretty cool. And then, of course, the next couple stories are fascinating. Les Wexner, the founder of Victoria's Secret, is connecting, and Q says connect the dots, Q. So this story just came out. One of the Epstein accusers says she was assaulted in billionaire Les Wexner's home. So now we're having bigger elites tied into this, and this all is starting to make perfect sense, according to what Q has told us. So we are starting to connect the dots. And of course, now we have two more, Kit Laybourne and Geraldine Laybourne. Geraldine Laybourne famously started the Oxygen TV network with Oprah. She worked for MTV, Nickelodeon, Children's Television Workshop, Nick Jr., or that was Kit, her husband. And her husband worked for MTV, Nickelodeon, Children's TV, Nick Jr., and his wife created Nickelodeon, and in '96 became the president of Disney, and as I said, also helped Oprah start the Oxygen network, TV network. And apparently, according to this, both are on the board of KinderCare, and both are on the Epstein flight logs. Hashtag child trafficking. Now, I'm not sure what this KinderCare is yet. We're still going to have to dig on that. But Q asks, how deep is the rabbit hole? Hashtag Mad Hatter Q. And of course, finally here we have, and I mean, this is pretty self-explanatory. We're going to have to keep diving in on these individuals and their involvement. But if they're making multiple flights on Jeffrey Epstein's plane and they're involved in these major TV organizations, especially the fact that they're centered around children, that is in and of itself disturbing with the accusations that are coming out about Jeffrey Epstein. I mean, why would they be flying to his private island? You fill in the dot. You connect the dots. I mean, that's something that we have to continue to do together here. But finally, we have this poster board of, the now playing at the movie theaters, Panic in DC, FISA-Gate, and Guardian of the Pedophile. 3 very appropriate titles for what's ahead. And we're going to continue to cover this information and bring it to you as soon as it's made available, because there are some very, very fascinating things going on. A couple other things I want to talk about. So Epstein's profile on Wikipedia has been changed. Somebody noticed this. They said that it seems that Wikipedia has altered Epstein's bio already. First screenshot of Epstein's bio was at 8:27 a.m. The second was at 10:30 a.m. The second one omitted Bill Clinton and Kevin Spacey, yet left Trump on as being one of the people that he had been in contact with as a celebrity. So obviously they just went in there and tried to scrub that clean. That's obviously something people are worried about. Another thing that I was pointing out was panic. Tom Steyer, I think Neon Revolt pointed this out first, but it's interesting that Tom Steyer, the anti-Trumper, never Trumper, decided to run for president right after Epstein's arrest. And if you'll remember, Q has alluded to the fact that a lot of these people will run for president just so they can say when they get arrested or when they get targeted for investigation or indictment that they're being politically targeted, when in reality, they're involved in some of the worst kind of crimes you could ever imagine. Now they're seizing his assets, which may have led to a lot more discovery. So the original sealed indictments that were just unsealed, which we can look at really briefly here. I'll leave a link to it if you want to read through them, but there might be a lot more than just this. Right now, it seems that there are three individuals who are claiming that they were sexually abused when they were minors by Jeffrey Epstein. There are a few employees and associates who are being indicted on these charges, as well as Jeffrey Epstein himself, and for sex trafficking, conspiracy, and other counts. So that's the information as I know it up till right now. I thought I'd point that out. And also I thought something that was very interesting was, how quick the Anons are. Les Wexner, and I already archived this, but so you can go to the Internet Time Machine and find it, but I don't know if it's still there. But Les Wexner they had his Wikipedia profile changed almost immediately. The Anons must have got in here and did it because it might not be a fully protected one. But now he's listed as an American businessman and friend of child molester Jeffrey Epstein, which I thought was hilarious because the Anons know how to troll at a level which is just incredible. So that's pretty much going to wrap it up. A few more things before we go. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Obviously, come here, share these videos, get on your social media, get the word out that way. Also, hit the subscribe button if you haven't. Make sure you hit the bell. Also, hit the like button if you guys like this and want to see more. Leave your thoughts, theories, and insights below. I want to hear what you guys think about everything we covered here today. A few other ways you can help out the channel. Come find me over here at justinformednews.com, the official website for Just Informed Talk, where you get links to the Q stuff, links to different news websites, links to breaking news, and of course the latest videos from the channel right here. That's justinformednews.com. Also, come find me on Twitter at justinformu. That's at justinformu, the letter U, on Twitter. We can have a conversation over here. That's a great way to connect. I have this new channel I'm going to be producing some content for. It's coming out very shortly. We're trying to get the interviews lined up. But it's tough sometimes when some of the people, have, there's scheduling conflicts. But if you want to be notified as soon as the new video is posted, come here, click the subscribe button, make sure you hit the bell for notifications so you get notified. A couple of other ways you can help out are both financial. Patreon, patreon.com. It's a crowdfunding website. Link will be in the description. You come here. It's a monthly donation. You set it and forget it. You hit this button to become a patron. That's how you join and know that you're helping create content on this channel on a regular basis. Also, I have a GoFundMe set up if you want to make a one-time or anonymous donation. That helps out the channel as well. So, with that being said, we're going to wrap this up with the segment we do at the end of each one of these episodes called God's Grace is Greater, where we talk about God's grace and how it is truly greater. For this one, I'm going to share this piece of scripture, which is very powerful to me. It talks about fulfilling our ministry, and I want to give you an idea of how I see that we are called by God. And I want to share this with you because this is important. It's out of 2 Timothy chapter 4, verse 1 through 5. It says, "Before God in Christ Jesus, who is going to judge the living and the dead, and by his appearing in his kingdom, I solemnly charge you, proclaim the message, persist in it, whether convenient or not. Rebuke, correct, and encourage with great patience and teaching. For the time will come when they will not tolerate sound doctrine, but according to their own desires will accumulate teachers for themselves, because they have an itch to hear something new. They will turn away from hearing the truth and will turn aside to myths. But as for you, keep a clear head about everything. Endure hardship, do the work of an evangelist, and fulfill your ministry." And that's how I feel I've been called, and I want to call you guys. That's my call to you guys. If you want to talk about calls to action, that's my call to action to you. Fulfill your ministry. Stand up for what's good. Stand for what's righteous. Remember that we may have to endure hardships, and we may have to basically put God first above all and rebuke what is wrong. But we must rebuke it, correct it, and encourage others with our message from a point of patience and understanding. So that's what we're called to do, and that's what I'm calling you to do as part of fulfilling your ministry. And as an evangelist, this is what God calls me to do every day. So I'm sharing with you what motivates me in my life, and I hope that helps you understand how you can become motivated through God even more than you may already be. So that's where I'm going to leave it. I want to say thank you guys for watching this episode of Just Informed Talk. Remember, hit that subscribe button if you haven't. Make sure you hit the bell for notifications and hit it, punch it, like it, kick it, smash it, tap it, whatever. Hit the like button. That lets me know you guys like this content, want to see me make more. That's going to be it for me. Thanks for watching this episode of Just Informed Talk. My name is Craig. Godspeed and God bless each and every one of you, Patriots.